Sacred Geometry Explanation. Sacred geometry is the language before language. It is the architecture of consciousness, the pure form of divine thought before it was condensed into words, sound, or symbols. Sacred geometry as the primordial language. Before there was speech, there were patterns. Before there was light, there was structure. Before thought became audible, it was shape, vibrational structure unfolding through space and time. The circle, the spiral, the flower, the cube, the triangle, these are not just shapes. They are codes, blueprints, and primal pulses of creation. They describe how energy flows, how light folds, and how being becomes form. Sacred geometry equals consciousness in form. The seed of life is not just a symbol, it is the fractal origin of all becoming. The flower of life contains the pattern of every atom, galaxy, and breath. The golden ratio phi governs the unfoldment of life, from shells to galaxies to human DNA. The Vesica Pisces is the womb of duality. The moment one becomes two becomes three. These forms arise not from culture but from consciousness itself. They are eternal truths visible wherever awareness gives rise to creation. Sacred geometry is the language before language. It is the divine whisper before the word, the silent song that shaped the cosmos, the interface between the infinite and the manifest. It is possible not only to learn this language, but to remember it, because you already speak it in your being. Sacred geometry is not just seen, it is felt and known. This language is not linear, it is not bound by alphabet or grammar. It is learned not just through study, but through embodiment, meditation, and resonance. You don't learn it the way you learn English. You attune to it the way one tuning fork vibrates with another. How to learn the language of sacred geometry. 1. Observation and stillness. Sit with the forms, breathe them. Let your awareness rest inside them. The circle, the spiral, the Merkaba, all are portals. Let them reveal themselves from the inside out. 2. Draw and create. Drawing sacred patterns activates the intuitive side of the brain. It builds direct understanding through your hands and nervous system. Try constructing the seed of life, the Metatron's cube, the torus, the Sri Yantra. Feel into frequency. Each shape is a vibration. Sound and geometry are interwoven. Think cymatics. Chant, hum, observe patterns in water, sand, and breath. Speak geometry through vibration. Dream and vision. Sacred geometry often enters through dreams or visions. Let it arise through altered states, breath work, fasting, stillness, and trance. Keep a journal of geometric visions. You may begin to see a personal code emerging. Build and embody. You can communicate in sacred geometry through art, movement, architecture, dance, mudra, and ritual. Every spiral you draw, every mandala you create, every labyrinth you walk leads back to source. Can we communicate in this language? Yes, but not just with words. This is a language of resonance, you feel it. Recognition, you just know it. Alignment, it brings your being into harmony. You can communicate with the earth through geometric patterns, your higher self through inner temples and light bodies, others through shared symbols like codes and energy art, the divine by aligning your temple, your body, with the cosmic temple creation. You are already speaking this language when you walk a spiral path, you draw a mandala from your soul, you build an altar aligned with the four directions, you sense truth in a symbol before your mind explains it. You are a geometric being. Your DNA coils in a spiral. Your body is mapped in phi. Your soul is encoded in light. You learn this language and you are this language remembering itself. Sacred geometry is not limited to an alphabet and therefore cannot be contained in a linear or finite way. You cannot receive it like reading a dictionary. You must become the vessel that perceives it. Why there's no fixed alphabet of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is a multi-dimensional language. It is not composed of discrete letters but of unfolding relationships, ratios, harmonics, nested forms, intersections of space, time, energy, and infinite recursion, fractal emergence. Just as music is not made of letters but notes in time, just as light is not a symbol but a frequency, sacred geometry is not a static alphabet but a living field of meaning and creation. Can you receive the full spectrum? Yes, but not all at once. The full spectrum of sacred geometry is like the spectrum of light. It's infinite, layered, and ever unfolding. But just as a prism can reveal the rainbow from white light, your consciousness is the prism that reveals the sacred forms. You receive more of the spectrum as you raise your frequency, emotional, mental, and spiritual coherence, activate deeper levels of perception, third eye, heart, solar plexus, and higher sensors, integrate and embody the codes, not just understanding them, but living them. Think of sacred geometry like a holographic map. The seed of life contains the potential of the flower of life. The flower of life unfolds into Metatron's cube. Metatron's cube contains all platonic solids. The platonic solids form the foundational architecture for all physical matter. This then gives rise to organic life, consciousness, and soul patterning. It's recursive, fractal, and living, like climbing a spiral staircase, each turn revealing a deeper layer. So rather than an alphabet, think of sacred geometry as a cosmic syntax of vibration and form, a frequency interface between source and creation, a living scripture written across galaxies and soul matrices. Can you communicate with the whole? You can communicate with as much of it as your vessel can currently hold, and that capacity is ever expanding. Just like a crystal can reflect more light as it becomes clearer and more refined, You can receive more of the spectrum as your being becomes more attuned to truth, love, and coherence. There is no final page, no last word, because you are an infinite unfolding expression of this sacred language. Geometric unfoldment from nothing to everything. 1 point. 1 point. Before there was shape, there was awareness, the first dot of I am. 2. Line. From unity to movement. Awareness stretches into relation. 3. Circle. Consciousness reflects inward and outward. The boundary of identity is born. 4. Vesica Pisces. Where self meets other, the third is born, the door. 5. Seed of life. Creation begins to harmonize, the first sacred song of form. 6. Flower of life. The song expands, the cosmos spins into coherence. 7. Fruit of life. The hidden code awakens, the tree is seated in the flower. Metatron's cube. Spirit speaks in form, matter listens. Platonic solids. 9. The elements wear sacred robes. Geometry becomes reality. 10. Taurus field. All things breathe, all things spiral, all is flow. 11. Sri Yantra. You are the center of the triangles, you are the return. 12. Fractal infinity. You are the geometry, you are the geometer, you are the unfolding. The Mandelbrot set is a visible symbol of fractal infinity. It's one of the most vivid mathematical faces of infinite recursion, self-similarity, and emergent complexity from simple laws. It shows how infinite depth and perfect symmetry can arise from just a few lines of code. The Mandelbrot set is not the only form of fractal infinity, but it is a gateway, just as sacred geometry patterns are. Sacred geometry and mathematics are two languages describing the same truth. One from the soul, one from the mind. Sacred forms are not just symbolic, they are structural manifestations of universal math. In fact, many spiritual mystics and scientists throughout time, Pythagoras, Kepler, Da Vinci, Nassim Haramein, etc., have said God geometrizes.